Do you know that the leading cause of death in our dogs is cancer? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some of the reasons why this is happening, and then more importantly, 5 simple and inexpensive human foods that you can be feeding your dog that could potentially help prevent them from getting cancer. Are you looking to learn more about natural pet health and wellness? You've come to the right place. Click the link to subscribe to Veterinary Secrets. I'm going to be having an upcoming live stream specifically on this topic, dog cancer, and you're invited. Not only that, it's with everyone's favorite golden retriever, Tucker Budzyn. I'll be going into details, specifically why our dogs are getting cancer, then most importantly, sharing with you the top natural remedies both for the prevention and treatment of cancer in our dogs. The live stream is happening Monday, June 16th at 4 p.m. Pacific. You can click the link in the box below for more information. Cancer is just so prevalent in our dogs. It's now estimated that upwards of 1 in 3 dogs, they're going to develop cancer at some part in their lifetime. And of dogs over the age of 10, of which truly is, over half of them are going to develop cancer. Exactly why is this happening? Well, there actually are a whole host of potential reasons, but when you start to look at the food, some of the array of different toxins, some of the things that we're doing to our dogs, you start to get a better sense of probably why this is going on and why it seems like there's an increased incidence of our dogs getting cancer. Many of the pet foods, they've got artificial preservatives, colors, flavors, all linked to cancer. The shiny inside lining of the pet food bag, it can be leaching BPA, also considered a carcinogen. One fairly recent study, they looked at all the different types of pet foods and they're looking at heavy metal contamination, specifically some of these toxins that are linked to things such as cancer. Some of the pet foods had almost 500% more cadmium, a serious heavy metal clearly linked to cancer, 500% more cadmium than found in cigarette tobacco. What the? And most of the pet foods tested, they exceeded considered safe, environmental toxin levels. Like, that's how many toxins are in your pet's food, potentially. There is definitely a big concern about many of the pet food ingredients. And for many pet parents, they're really focusing on the carbohydrate, like eliminate the carbs. But the biggest thing when you look into it, it's not just the carbohydrates. More importantly is looking at the specific food ingredients and seeing, are they GMO? So the point of GMO is not that, GMO is bad or good, is that when a genetically modified food is grown, it allows the farmers to spray on insecticides, spray on pesticides, dousing those crops in those so other things don't grow. They don't have weeds they don't want. They don't have insects they don't want. But that means some of that food, it can contain small amounts of that toxin, i.e. small amounts of Roundup, which makes its way within your pet's food. For instance, corn that's GMO, going to have more Roundup in it. That soy, it could have Roundup in it. Chemicals sprayed on lawns, for instance. We know that dogs are exposed to an increased amount of those chemicals. They have an increased incidence of cancer. And it's not just that, you and I are exposed to it, so is your dog. They're walking in that grass. It's sitting on the edge of their paws. They come in, they groom themselves. They're ingesting some of that toxin, some of that Roundup, for instance, which may be sprayed to kill the dandelions. Maybe your dog's been given a whole lot of vaccines. We know that there's a correlation between the number of vaccines, repeated vaccines, how that then affects your dog's immune system, potentially them then getting cancer, or even the age at which we choose to spay or neuter your dog. We now know there's a studied and direct correlation between early spay and neuter and the incidence of cancer. These sex hormones, they're not just key parts of how your dog grows. It also plays a role in how their immune system works properly or not. And if it's not working correctly, what could happen? Your dog's more likely to get cancer. And they're seeing that specifically in certain breeds. So as you can see, there's a lot of potential reasons why your dog can get cancer. And when you put those all together, makes sense why we're seeing an increased incidence of cancer, why so many dogs are getting cancer. So number one, what can you do about it? Well, first, just what I talked about in terms of all those potential things that can trigger cancer. Do the best thing you can do to limit your dog's exposure to that. If they're gonna be eating kibble, make sure it's a good quality company, one that chooses to use clean ingredients, one that is considered toxin-free. It's not going to have high levels of cadmium. They're not using artificial preservatives. They're not using artificial colors. One that's not going to include, GMO foods have been sprayed with Roundup. But honestly, ideally, you're probably better off eating way less of this stuff, if not minimal to no kibble. Making your dog's food at home, you're feeding a clean protein, you're feeding a clean carbohydrate, i.e. like a sweet potato, along with some form of veggie. Now you can make your own dog's food at home, then you're going to be feeding a good quality clean food, minimizing the toxin exposure. Vaccinate your dog less. Delay the age at which they're spayed or neutered. Ideally wait until 2 years of age. So these are 5 human foods which really could decrease the risk of your dog developing cancer. The first 3 foods, they are rich in antioxidants. Studies in our dogs, they show that when your dog consumes a high intake of antioxidant-rich foods, they have a marked decreased risk of developing cancer. Fruits and veggies, they are antioxidant-rich. Fruits and veggies, they're antioxidant-rich, and there's certain specific fruits and veggies that many dogs like can really make a big difference. Number 1, believe it or not, we have carrots. A 2005 study of Scottish Terriers, they're a breed which has a really high risk of developing bladder cancer. They found that those owners who fed their dogs carrots 3 times a week, that those dogs had a marked decreased risk of ever developing this bladder cancer. That was it. They fed carrots 3 times a week, and that made this big difference, decreasing the chance of them developing cancer. Carrots are rich in antioxidants. They're rich in nutrients, medicinal nutrients such as carotenoids. Those can play a big role in helping prevent your dog from ever developing cancer. They're also really good for your dog's teeth, especially if he'll crunch on them dry. Not so great with Tula. She wants something better, but if you have a dog that eats carrots, go for it. 3 times a week. And I really think of all the things we're going to talk about today, if you can just incorporate one of these foods 3 times a week, it can make a big difference lowering cancer risk. So number 1, we have carrots. What do you think, Tula? And as far as the amount to give, I would say about 1/4 of an average carrot per 20 pounds of body weight. There you go, Tula. Do that 3 times a week. Number 2, we have apple. Apples, they're nutrient dense. They're also super reasonably priced and inexpensive. They have a number of different specific anti-cancer ingredients. Number of different ingredients make them powerful antioxidants. I mean, this can be really beneficial to help your dog. Apple peel, it's rich in the flavonoid quercetin. We know it's great for our dogs with allergies, but also we know it's a really potent antioxidant, got some specific anti-cancer properties. You need to be feeding the peel, but quercetin from the apple can make a big difference. It's also a source of catechin, that's a phenol. It's something that's also found in green tea. It's a great potent antioxidant. Then lastly, apple peel, especially if we've got red apple like this. I'm not sure which one this guy is. Regardless, it tastes pretty good. It also has a nutrient called anthocyanins, and those are found in red wine. But that also has specific and studied anti-cancer properties. So just by giving your dog an apple, some apple 3 times a week, could make a really big difference. The amount you may be wondering, take your average apple, about a 1/4 of that apple 3 times a week for a 20-pound dog like Tula. Once again, it is dependent on your dog eating it. And little poodle here, Tula, apple, oh, it's so good, yum, yum, yum. Okay, you may need to chop it up, hide it into your dog's food, but yeah, apple. Some really good anti-cancer properties, all those really great things in it. At the very least, eat more of these for yourself. At number 3, kale. Kale is considered the most nutrient-dense vegetable, really rich in antioxidants, really rich in specific anti-cancer compounds. It's got the highest measured amount of any vegetable of vitamin C, potent antioxidants. It's really high in beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A, another very potent antioxidant. It's got the flavonoids, quercetin, camphorol. They've also been specifically studied for their anti-cancer properties. It has a specific anti-cancer compound called glucosinolates, and that can make a big difference helping your dog. They've been shown to induce cancer cell death, induce apoptosis. It's also high in a nutrient called sulforaphane, and that's been studied and shown to be potentially protective in people for breast cancer, colon cancer, which is huge. So you've got all these potent antioxidants, you've got these specific studied anti-cancer compounds. There is a ton of great things that come from kale. What to feed? I don't know. Take about a quarter of a leaf of the standard kale leaf per 20 pounds. You're probably going to have to cook it up. I've tried it again with Tula. Cooked or uncooked. You're going to need it. Uncooked, it's, I'll eat it. Great in a salad. But even try to just chop it up finely, incorporate it into your dog's food. Like, just pick one of these things. The carrots, the apples. I grab all three of those. Probably the kale is even the best. If they eat it even 3 times a week, I think it can make a big difference. Number 4. This is canned salmon. But it's not that it's the salmon. It's that it has EPA and DHA. The essential fatty acids, they've been widely studied and they have clear and specific anti-cancer properties. Number 1, they're anti-inflammatory. Clear correlation between inflammation, especially chronic inflammation and cancer. That helps decrease cancer risk. Decrease cancer cell growth. Make it more difficult for cancer cells to grow. They even can actually induce, in some cases, apoptosis, cancer cell death. And they've been also extensively studied in people, specifically in relation to some of the more common cancers people get, such as colon cancer, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, even a cancer affecting middle-aged to older men, aka me, prostate cancer. And what they know is that when there are populations that consume higher and above average amount of fish, such as in Japan, such as the Mediterranean, they have lower incidence of many of these types of cancers. And yes, you can get it in the form of a supplement. We even have one, but I'm trying to show you foods that are available, something you could also give to your dog that they're potentially going to like. So we're choosing canned salmon, high in the essential fatty acids. It's also a great source of protein. And this, I know the poodle's going to eat. So let's do a little sample test here. Can opening. And if the cat smells this salmon, he'll be here too. Okay, Tula. How much to feed Tula? Yeah, she's about 20 pounds. I say about a quarter of the can. I'm going to give her a little spoon here. Oh, look at that salmon. Yum, 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 Tula. This is something you're going to want to eat. A quarter of the can, even to do that 3 times a week. Supplementary diet. Holy cow. So that was the 4th thing you actually ate. So if I'm going to keep you healthy, I'm either going to have to keep mixing in the supplements or I'm going to have to feed you salmon. Wow. So yes, high in EFAs, great protein source. Be giving this to your dog 3 times a week. Potentially can make a big, big difference. Number 5, the good bacteria I love to talk about, the probiotics. But here they are found in whole yogurt. The probiotics, those hundreds of millions of bacteria that colonize your stomach, your intestinal tract, also within our dogs. But they offer an array of so many big benefits. Like number 1, your dog really needs more probiotics. But number 2, can really potentially help prevent things such as cancer. So first, they're maintaining a healthy, balanced gut microbiome. When we know there's a healthy population of the good microbiome, the good bacteria, we know there's less inflammation. Less inflammation, much lower chance of your dog developing cancer. Secondly, they can play a role in detoxification of certain carcinogens, which come from cooked meat. These good bacteria, the probiotics, can help ensure that those things don't get absorbed properly and actually cause cancer. They can bind things such as aflatoxins, these molds that can be found in, say, moldy dog food. Those have clear cancer-causing properties. But the probiotics, the good bacteria, can bind to those, making sure they can't absorb into your dog's system, triggering cancer. They can enhance your dog's immune response, a more prolific immune system. We know so much of the immune system is based in the intestinal tract, obviously decreased risk of getting cancer. And some of the byproducts of probiotic metabolism, they have some studied anti-cancer properties. So there's a whole bunch of big things these good bacteria can do. One of the big things is helping prevent cancer in your dog. And it can be just as simple as giving your dog yogurt 3 times a week. Dog like Tula, I'd say a couple tablespoons, per 10 pound. Here's about a tablespoon, Tula. I'm just worried she's going to get yogurt everywhere, but let's just try it. You like your yogurt. So we had 5 foods here today. You wouldn't eat the apple, you wouldn't eat the carrot, you wouldn't eat the kale, but you eat the canned salmon, you eat the yogurt. Okay. 2 to 5 is not bad. So there they are, 5 simple, inexpensive human foods, which could potentially help prevent your dog from ever getting cancer. then I really encourage you to sign up for our brand new live stream with the world's most favored golden retriever, Tucker Budzyn. We're going to be discussing cancer in dogs, but in specifically, I'm going to be going into detail in terms of what foods I think are best to feed. Some of the specific foods you should be adding in to potentially help prevent cancer. I'm going to show you my top natural remedies, both for the prevention and treatment of cancer in our dogs. The live stream is free. It's happening Monday, June 16th at 4 p.m. Pacific. You can click the link in the box below for more information. Thanks so much for watching this edition on Veterinary Secrets of helping to prevent cancer in your dog. Click up there to subscribe, hit the bell to sign up for notifications, and when you click that link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book.